You are listening to Central Indiana Sports Central, your daily update on the Pacers, Colts, IU, Purdue, IndyCar, the Fever, Ball State, Butler, and, of course, the best high school sports coverage in Central Indiana.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Central Indiana sports fans. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, and this is Central Indiana Sports Central, the main show of the Central Indiana Sports Report, where we go over the most important sports news of the previous day. Whatever Indiana sports fans are talking about, that's what we are talking about. And on Friday nights in the fall, of course, that is high school football. And once again, Central Indiana Sports Central is all high school football, which will be the case at least until the Pacers season begins. Saturday, Central Indiana Sports Central are a little different that way. They're also a little different in that they'll be out a little later because our priority is the high school football scoreboard show. But please tune in to Central Indiana Sports Central, where we are talking about Central Indiana sports every single day. It's another busy day on Saturday. We will have a reaction to the Colts-Bengals, the Colts' final preseason game of the year before the season gets underway in a couple of weeks. Right after qualifying, we will preview the IndyCar Milwaukee race with Elijah Poe. Please look out for that one. And sometime this weekend, as soon as I can get it edited, we will have an IU report with the best case, worst case scenario for every game for the Hoosiers this coming season. That's with Grant Schaus and Mike Hutzel. Coming up on this podcast, we talked to Cade Hampton of the Muncie Star-Press about Muncie Central's incredible win over Delta. We talked to Kevin Helfrich of the Action Sports Network about Eastern's incredible win over. Also spoke with Codey Emerson of the Greencastle Banner-Graphic about a very impressive Eastern Hancock win over Greencastle. The Muncie Star-Press's Zach Carter about Winchester's impressive win over rival Monroe Central. And we heard from ANEC Sports up in Fort Wayne. He called one of the best games in the state, which was Adams Central 7, Garrett 0. Get a quick update from him as well. Your Central Indiana Sports Update begins now. Before we get going with our high school sports reports, just want to let you know that the Fever lost at home to the Minnesota Lynx 95-90. Despite 27 points from Kelsey Mitchell and a huge night from Lexi Hall, she scored 23, and John Robertson was very happy about that. Also, the Colts and Bengals are playing this afternoon in a preseason game, the Colts' final preseason game of the year. We will talk to Sam Frick and Will Rutherford about that. And IndyCar is in Milwaukee. We will have coverage of that all weekend long, not only on Central Indiana Sports Central on Sunday, but also on the IndyCar Report. By the way, every day I shoot for 12:01 a.m. on Central Indiana Sports Central, but I don't always get it done, especially on Friday nights for Saturday morning. We start our roundup with Cade Hampton of the Muncie Star-Press. Welcome back to the Central Indiana Sports Report. Cade Hampton, and Cade had a great game tonight and an upset, a fantastic debut for Kyle Baresh, and win for Muncie Central over their rival Delta.
Yeah, really just an absolutely fantastic game. Muncie Central really had to rally after a very tough first half. They kind of struggled to get anything going offensively, had a couple of defensive breakdowns and miscues that led to some big Delta plays. Delta was up 13-0 after the first half, but Muncie Central rallied, got things done, and pulled out a 16-13 victory. And you mentioned it, a really awesome debut for Coach Kyle Baresh. And if he hasn't already won over the Bearcat community, I think that win right there is certainly one to do it. I mean, to be in that situation, 13 at half, nothing's really going your way, and to come out in the second half the way they did, especially their defense. I think Delta only had 45 yards of offense in the second half, maybe even less than that. So really awesome performance by the Bearcats, and encouraging for their future for sure.
What was the difference? Who played well for Central, Cade?
Well, I mean, it starts with the Eccles. Dacion Eccles, the senior, of course. Everybody knows about him, and he, along with the rest of the offense, really got shut down in the first half. He only had 6 carries for 12 yards, but the second half he really exploded. He had 19 carries for 119, finished with 25 for 131 yards. And then he also on defense had on Delta's last gasp drive after Central kicked what ended up being the game-winning field goal. Delta had about a minute left, and they were trying to get some things moving, and Dacion just came screaming off the edge and had a huge sack. I mean, an emphatic hit, laid it out, and made it a 3rd and long situation, and Delta never really got out of that. He was awesome. Didn't get in the end zone, though. That was Landon Johnson, who is the other running back there. He had a great night, 5 rushes for 30 yards and an 18-yard touchdown run. Also had a nice 22-yard reception on a check down to set up a score. Dorian Montgomery had a nice game, 4 catches for 54 yards and a touchdown, and he also had a big tackle for loss on defense. And then going back to that Eccles family, Carlos Eccles Jr. had an amazing debut for a sophomore. His first game on varsity, made some big plays on both sides, a couple of pass breakups as a defensive back. He had 3 catches for 91 yards, but he probably had the biggest play of the night. Central had got the ball back with 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and first play, he ran a little out route, got a cushion in the defense, and then just wiggled his way free and scampered, got 69 yards on the play. Got down inside the 10-yard line and ended up setting up the game-winning field goal for Central. So really awesome debut for him, and he's going to be a very exciting player to watch going forward.
You don't see a lot of pressure field goals in high school football, but that was one.
Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to Judah Smith, man, making that kick. It was a little 28-yard kick from the left hash. Not the easiest kick in the world. Those ones on the far hashes are not always easy to make. So really, came up big in that moment for the Bearcats, and of course the defense still had to finish it off. They came up big on that last Delta drive, but yeah, clutch kick for the kid for sure.
And it's another county rival coming in next Friday. It looks like Yorktown probably has a pretty good team. The Bearcats making their debut at home. By the way, one of my favorite places to watch a high school football game. Mm-hmm. That one's going to be interesting, too.
Yorktown obviously starting off the season strong, a 55-0 victory over Anderson. Yorktown, they're very, very confident going into this season. They have, I think, their deepest roster in school history in terms of just the sheer numbers they have. And they have a lot of talent coming back. Junior quarterback Sam Tokar had a really great year as a sophomore last year, and they just got a lot of dudes, especially on that defense. That's going to be a fun game to watch next week, and you already know I'm going to be there, so very excited for that.
And Delta has another tough one at Heritage, so tough start for Delta, but as we all know, Billy Lynch will get that thing turned around.
That first half, they were really impressive. It was looking like they were going to kind of cruise to another, I think 5 straight victories over Central to open the season. It looked like things were heading in that direction. That Delta offense was really clicking the first half, but second half, everything just kind of flipped on its head, and Central took care of business, took care of what they needed to do, took advantage of Delta's kind of mishaps, and
hey, everybody, it's 1:30 in the morning, and Cade Hampton just finished the Star-Press. Reward him and go pick it up. Check out his work at thestarpress.com. Cade, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it.
Welcome back to the Central Indiana Sports Report. Kevin Helfrich from the Action Sports Network. And, Kevin, that's how you get back into a high school football season, right?
Wow, it was an absolute doozy of a first game tonight, Greg. It had everything you would want. There were so many lead changes there in the fourth quarter. Eastern scores 3 touchdowns in the final 6-13 to come from behind to steal this one from Oak Hill 26-22 in what was just an outstanding high school football game.
You mentioned the come-from-behind win. What changed for the Comets?
They quit turning the football over there. In the first half, there were 2 interceptions Oak Hill picked off the talented Gibson Eagle in the second quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, his arm proved to be the difference as he throws a game-winning 30-yard touchdown pass with just under 5 seconds left as Eastern sees their first win over Oak Hill in the last 5 seasons now. So a big win for the Comets that will probably propel them into another good football season last year, coming off that first ever sectional championship. Yeah. So they've picked off where they left off now, and the future is bright for this season.
Yeah, no kidding. There had been a lot of buzz about Oak Hill coming out of this season, and you mentioned Eastern won a sectional championship last year, and expectations were high there as well. So you knew going into this one, Kevin, it was going to be a good one, and it certainly lived up to the expectation.
It really did. These are two neighboring schools and neighboring counties, and just great fan support from both teams. There wasn't a seat to be had on either side tonight, and just a great turnout, and they couldn't have got more for their money tonight. It was just a well-played game. I think it was a case where, Oak Hill plays a lot of guys two ways, and I think they just simply ran out of gas in that fourth quarter. Not to make excuses, because Eastern had players going both ways as well, but Oak Hill actually regained the lead with under a minute left, with 46 seconds left. You thought they might have secured the victory when Jet Ott went in from 3 yards out, and then Dylan Archer converted the 2-point conversion to put Oak Hill up 22-20. They elected to go for 2 as they had trotted out a freshman kicker and then called a timeout and changed their mind and went for 2. And so they had the 2-point lead, and then Eastern gets a pretty decent kickoff return. And then Oak Hill had a chance to win the game on a fourth down. The Eastern converts a pass on 4th and 5. They were short of the 6 on the catch, but the Tar turned it into a first down as he ran it for 5 more yards for plenty of yards for the first down there, and then they convert on that touchdown pass late in the game. Oak Hill probably going to second guess themselves on the play call there. They did not drop eight people into coverage. They elected to rush 4, and the linebackers were playing, I thought, up a little bit too far, and they took 2 steps in, actually, before they retreated back. And it was just a nice, deep slant pass as Eagle found his man for the touchdown, and that was Caleb Hurd, and Eastern comes out with a gigantic home opening win.
Who stood out, Kevin, for the Comets?
I guess you have to look at their quarterback. Obviously, he's coming off an outstanding sophomore season where he threw for over 2,500 yards. He did struggle a little bit in that first half, but he ends up going 16 for 29 in the contest for 226 yards and 2 big touchdown passes in the second half. He threw another beautiful 21-yard touchdown pass earlier in the fourth quarter for the Comets as well. Offensive player without a doubt. They were limited a little bit in the running game tonight. Isaiah Prickett, who is an outstanding running back, I had him unofficially for 18 carries for just 85 yards. He did have 2 touchdown runs, though, for the Comets as well. So those 2 guys really stood out tonight for Eastern.
Kevin, thank you so much for your time. Where are you at next week?
Next week, I head up to Fort Wayne to watch the Eastbrook Panthers, 1-0 on the season, take on the Fort Wayne Concordia.
Yeah, that should be a good one. It's a lot of buzz about Eastbrook, too, and a nice win for the Panthers tonight to open the season.
Yeah, they were in another thriller as well, a 21-20 win on the road at Huntington North. So Coach Adamson seems to have that team off to the right track here to start the 2025 season.
And, Kevin, if you want to hear from Coach Adamson, go check out the High School Football Scoreboard show that we released a little earlier today. Thanks so much, Kevin.
I appreciate it, Greg. Good talking to you.
Welcome now, Codey Emerson from the Greencastle Banner-Graphic, here to talk about the Reds and the Braves. Oh, no, tonight's Friday night, right? Our baseball guy covered some high school football tonight, and, man, what a performance by the Eastern Hancock Royals.
Literally they set the tone quite literally from the opening kickoff. They took it 90 yards for a touchdown and converted a 2-point conversion in 15 seconds into the game. Greencastle found themselves down 8-0.
Wow.
Their opening drive, highly touted quarterback Cole Stevens tried to, just extend the play, do a little too much, and throw it in double coverage basically as he was getting sacked. threw an interception, and then Eastern Hancock needed just 2 plays as the Mark Cuby, the Royals running back, went 61 yards to make it 15-0. And in a blink of an eye, Greencastle was down 2 scores. And
what was it about Eastern Hancock that was so impressive?
They've got, and here I was able to talk with some of their radio guys up in the press box. Had a lot of injuries last year. That's why big reason why they went 5-5. Weren't quite healthy the entire way. They've got a ton of senior playmakers. Starting, they got them Luke and Eli Manship. It is the brothers make a very touted wide receiver duo. Mark Cube is a senior running back, and then Elijah Eden can make plays with both his arm and his legs. I mean, they had Greencastle just off balance the entire night. They can run an option. They run an option offense, and then when you bite too hard on the option, they'll throw some play action in there and beat you over the top. They've got athletes all across the board.
Cody, you and Michelle and I all picked Greencastle to win this game, so I think we maybe underestimated Eastern Hancock.
Yeah, I was curious to see I thought it'd be a great game. Greencastle, the main issues are defensively. They could not, Greg, get off the field on 3rd down. It was first and second down defense was pretty solid, but it was 3rd and 11, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 13, where Eastern Hancock would have, a 25-yard touchdown, a 20-yard touchdown, a 30-some yard, whatever. Big plays on 3rd down that Greencastle just could never recover from. And one of the first things that head coach Dave Stevens said to me when I had a conversation with him after the game was, if you had a bingo card with everything that could go wrong in a season opener for a football game, we'd probably check all the boxes on that bingo card.
Welcome back to the Central Indiana Sports Report, Zach Carter, who was covering the Winchester-Monroe Central game tonight for the Muncie Star-Press, and impressive performance tonight by the Golden Falcons, Zach.
Yeah, impressive is maybe an understatement for this game. Winchester, this game for the last 4 years playing, inter-county, Randolph County rival. They've always wanted to start the season off well. Last year it was a 19-16 defeat in this game. And when I talked to the head coach earlier this week, he talked about how they wanted to get back. They wanted to win it. And Mike Jones, the head coach of Winchester, being very good friends with John Hochstetler, the head coach of Monroe Central. It's a fun rivalry. But tonight, Winchester proved they are going to be a team to deal with this season. They're starting 10 seniors, and I just think the way they played, the way they're able to control the ground game and run the clock, they're going to be a hard out for anybody they play this year.
Who played well in particular, Zach?
I think there were a few guys. I think if you look at Carter Campbell, who is a senior from Winchester, did a great job. He had 3 touchdowns. You had him going off. He had a catch and 2 rushes. I think he had 97 yards to end the game. It was just really an all-around performance. Those 2 did well. I think with Winchester's performance on the ground game, being able to also add in the pass a little bit, which they weren't really a big passing team last year. Again, a complete dominant game from them.
Welcome in now Sam Frick from ANEC Sports to talk about his game, not in Central Indiana, but was one of the best games around the state, so I wanted to talk to him for a moment. Big shutout win for Adams Central tonight against a really good Garrett team, 7-0. You got to see some defense, Sam.
Yeah, mid-season form for the Adams Central Flying Jets, who came into tonight's game having to play without one of their starting offensive linemen, Nate Yerkin, and then they have Hayden Bloom out there tonight. They were both injured and for this contest. And towards the end of the game, around the 3rd quarter, they also were without their top edge rusher in Cameron Fravel. He did not return in the 3rd quarter. Kind of was limping, needed some help in that 3rd quarter. But other than that, Adams Central overcame adversity, overcame a very physical Garrett defense. They overcame a situation where they committed 3 turnovers in the contest. They forced Garrett to turn the ball over 4 times, I believe, in that contest. And then led by Jamison Roach's touchdown run in the 1st quarter, the Jets eventually held on to win this game by the score of 7-0 to avenge their loss from last season against Garrett and winning their 15th straight home game.
Sam, thanks so much. Appreciate it as always.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks so much to our friends Cade Hampton, Codey Emerson, Kevin Helfrich, Zach Carter, and Sam Frick for their updates. Please join us again on Sunday for Central Indiana Sports Central, where we will have updates on the Fever, IndyCar, the Colts, Madison County Golf, and anything else that breaks between now and then. Thank you. Do us a favor. Please share this podcast with the Central Indiana sports fan in your life and help spread the word that the Central Indiana Sports Report is here talking about Central Indiana sports every single day. Thanks again. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.